Did you know that over 2 billion cups of coffee are consumed every single day around the world? But how does your morning drink begin its journey from a tiny coffee cherry? Today, we're uncovering the secrets of instant coffee. From the first blossoms of coffee trees to the cutting-edge factories where beans transform into aromatic powder. Why is Arabica so delicate and Robusta so hardy? And how does production involve technologies that seem straight out of a sci-fi lab? Stick around. You'll be amazed by how many hands and minds it takes to create every jar of coffee. Before beans make it to the factory, they travel a long way, from small coffee plantations to industrial mills, and this journey starts long before the beans are ready to work. First, let's talk about Robusta and Arabica. They're like totally different personalities. They grow in different conditions, offer distinct flavors, and have unique growing demands. Fun fact: instant coffee usually uses Robusta, a bean known for its strength and high caffeine content. Arabica is also used, but less frequently, mainly in premium blends to add a smooth, sweeter flavor. Arabica is the premium bean. It's grown high up in the mountains, typically at elevations of 800 to 2,000 feet above sea level. It's picky. It loves mild climates, consistent rainfall, and temperatures between 60 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Robusta is less fussy. It thrives in lowlands, can handle heat, humidity, and even pests. Its ideal growing temperature can reach up to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It's often cultivated in tough climates where Arabica wouldn't survive. Coffee plantations look like small forests. Coffee trees are grown from seeds, and get this, they take up to 3 years to bear their first fruit. Yep, 3 years before those cherries, which aren't even the coffee beans yet, but their outer shells appear. The trees are planted on specially prepared terraces, especially Arabica on slopes. The soil needs to be loose, rich in minerals, and moisture balanced. On many plantations, work is still done by hand, though some larger farms now use machines for planting. Coffee cherries take about 9 months to ripen after the trees bloom. And here's where the magic begins: timing the harvest just right. Handpicking is the best and most precise method. Workers pick only the ripe cherries, leaving the green ones to mature. It's labor-intensive, but guarantees quality, especially for Arabica. Robusta is often harvested with machines that comb cherries off the trees. It's faster and cheaper, but ripe and unripe cherries end up mixed. Handpicking Arabica ensures better quality, but requires a massive workforce. Entire villages or even seasonal workers from nearby regions often help on large plantations. Harvested cherries aren't beans yet, they're just the shells. To extract the coffee beans, cherries undergo processing. There are 2 main methods: wet processing and dry processing. Wet processing is mostly used for Arabica. Cherries are soaked in water, where the pulp dissolves and the beans separate. It's pricier, but results in a clean, delicate flavor. Dry processing is more common for Robusta. Cherries are simply spread out to dry under the sun, and then the shells are removed. It's cheaper, but creates a bolder, more intense taste. After processing, the beans are sorted by size, weight, and quality. The best beans go into premium coffee products, while smaller or slightly damaged ones are used for more budget-friendly options or instant coffee. Here's something cool I learned. Robusta beans are usually round and tougher, while Arabica beans are oval and a bit softer to the touch. Once beans are ready, they're packed in classic jute bags. Why jute? It lets the beans breathe during transportation. On plantations, these bags are often loaded onto small trucks or even motorcycles to reach nearby ports or warehouses. Then, the beans are shipped in large containers that can carry hundreds of tons of coffee at a time. Beans often pass through several countries before reaching the factory. For example, coffee might be grown in Vietnam, one of the world's largest Robusta producers, processed in another country, and roasted or turned into instant coffee at a factory in Europe or the US. Before beans are transformed into instant coffee, they're checked for quality multiple times. On plantations, defective cherries are removed before processing. Before shipping, beans undergo another round of checks at warehouses and ports. This includes examining size, color, and aroma. At the factory, samples from each batch are tasted to ensure the flavor meets standards. Everything starts with coffee beans. At the factory I visited, Roasted beans are delivered, and their smell, wow, it's that rich aroma you get when you walk into a coffee shop. Fun fact, roasting follows an incredibly precise schedule. Every second impacts the final flavor. So, where does roasting happen? At roasting facilities. Roasting is a whole universe of its own. It significantly affects coffee's taste and aroma, so it's taken seriously. There are several ways this can go down. Sometimes, especially for large Robusta volumes, beans are roasted in their country of origin, like Vietnam or Brazil. These countries have massive export-focused factories, which cut down on logistics costs. Big brands have their own roasting facilities in key regions. For example, in Europe or the US, there are giant factories specializing exclusively in roasting. Roasting beans separately isn't just a preference, it's logical. Green coffee beans are easier to transport long distances because they're less sensitive to storage conditions. Specialized facilities ensure a consistent roast level needed for specific products. Plus, depending on the end use, instant coffee or ground coffee, beans are roasted differently. Roasting coffee is a science. Beans are heated in rotating drums at temperatures around 400 degrees Fahrenheit. The roast time depends on the desired profile, lighter for softer flavors, darker for bold, intense notes. Instant coffee typically uses dark roasts. This enhances aroma and adds a bitterness that holds up even after processing. Roasted beans are cooled and packed to preserve their aroma. The factory receives this semi-finished product and focuses on its processes. It's a bit like a chef starting with a ready-made base to create a masterpiece. The first step after delivery is grinding the beans to a dust-like consistency. No, this isn't your regular grind for a French press or espresso. Industrial mills turn beans into particles finer than sand grains. Why so fine? I asked one of the staff. The answer was simple. The smaller the particles, the more efficiently the flavor and aroma are extracted in the next steps. Here's where the real chemistry begins. The ground powder goes into special extraction chambers, where it's brewed with hot water under pressure. Think of it as a giant coffee maker. This is where all the flavor and aroma you enjoy in your instant coffee are drawn out. What surprised me? The water temperature is controlled to the exact degree to avoid overbrewing. If it's too hot, the taste becomes bitter. Too cool, and the coffee loses its richness. The extract from these chambers undergoes multi-stage filtration. All unwanted particles are removed, leaving only a liquid concentrate. This concentrate looks like thick syrup and has such a strong aroma, it'll make your head spin. Next comes the most fascinating part. The liquid concentrate is turned into powder or granules using two main methods: spray drying or freeze drying. Spray drying involves blasting hot air to dry droplets of concentrate, leaving behind dry powder. It's fast and relatively cheap, but sometimes loses some aroma. Freeze drying is more complex. The concentrate is first frozen to extremely low temperatures, then sublimated, turning ice into vapor and leaving dry granules behind. It's pricier, but preserves maximum flavor. At the factory I visited, both methods were used depending on the coffee type. For premium lines, only freeze drying was used. The finished powder or granules are packed into jars, sachets, or sticks. It's all automated. Machines measure exact amounts, seal the packages, and add protective valves to preserve aroma. By the way, these valves are a real technological breakthrough. They let air out of the jar, but don't let it back in. You might wonder, how do they keep the aroma? The secret is that some of the coffee oils and aromatic compounds lost during extraction are collected separately and added back to the final product. It's like a little bonus that makes instant coffee so familiar and fragrant. Is instant coffee real coffee? You know, I was a bit skeptical myself until I saw the whole process. It really is 100% coffee, just with a touch of engineering magic. Actually, scratch that, it's more like technical mastery. The difference between instant coffee and freshly brewed coffee is like the difference between homemade pizza and takeout pizza. They're both great, but in different ways. Instant coffee is quicker, more convenient, and still incredibly flavorful when done right. After the tour, I was blown away by how intricate and well thought out the process is. And you know what amazed me the most? The sheer number of people involved, from engineers monitoring the equipment to tasters checking every batch. Yes, Tasters. Turns out it's a real profession. Imagine having a job where you drink coffee and evaluate its taste. Isn't that the dream? Instant coffee isn't just powder in a jar. It's a monumental effort, cutting-edge technology, and a love for a drink that brings us comfort, even on the busiest days. So, next time you make yourself a cup, remember the many hands that work to deliver that aroma to you. What do a sandwich, potato wedges, and pasta have in common? That's right, cheese. It takes these simple dishes and turns them into pure bliss. There are plenty of cheeses in the world, but cheddar holds a special place in my heart. Today we're diving into my love story with this cheese, my go-to for the easiest, most delicious meals I know. Let's get started. At the cheese factory where cheddar is made, pasteurization is like a technological dance. By the way, are you into techno? The process kicks off with an automated system moving milk through a network of sterile pipes to a pasteurization unit. Here, heat exchangers warm the milk to an exact temperature, typically between 161 and 167 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not just heating, it's a precision process that destroys harmful microorganisms while keeping the milk's nutrients intact. The secret lies in the control system. High-precision sensors continuously monitor the milk's temperature. Once the milk has been heated for the required time, it's cooled down almost instantly to a safe 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's where it gets innovative. The heat released during cooling is reused to warm the next batch of milk. This energy regeneration is both cost-effective and eco-friendly, reducing the production's overall energy consumption. In the warm halls of the cheese factory, where the milk has already been pasteurized, the next step begins, adding the starter culture and rennet. The pasteurized milk is poured into large stainless steel vats, where it's heated to around 86 to 89 degrees Fahrenheit, the perfect temperature for the starter culture to do its magic. A computer system controls every detail, from the milk volume to the exact temperature in each vat. The starter culture goes in first. These are carefully selected lactic acid bacteria that give cheddar its signature flavor and texture. Delivered as either a powder or liquid, the culture is measured precisely by robotic dispensers. Once added, large mechanical paddles gently stir the milk, ensuring the bacteria are evenly distributed. Next comes the addition of rennet, a microbiological enzyme called renin. It's eco-friendly and even suitable for vegetarians. Adding rennet is where the magic happens. It transforms the milk into a curd in less than an hour, laying the foundation for cheddar. While the rennet works its magic, the system keeps an eye on every change in the milk. Sensors measure acidity and density, while algorithms determine the exact moment to end this phase. Modern technology ensures the process is quick, efficient, and requires minimal human intervention. Once the curd is fully formed, the milk is no longer a liquid. It has become a smooth, tender cheese mass ready for the next step in becoming the famous cheddar. Cheddar is the reason I took my first steps in cooking. Actually, I've taken a lot of steps since then, but I still feel like I'm standing in the same spot. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about 10-year-old me trying to cook for the first time. Picture this. Me, a heated pan. My mom watching from the corner of the kitchen, ready to call 911 if needed. And there they were. 2 slices of bread slathered with butter and a generous slice of cheddar. Sure, the bread got a little burnt, but it still tasted incredible. By the way, what was the first thing you ever cooked? Forming the curd is when cheddar starts to take physical shape. Every parameter, temperature, acidity level, enzyme timing, is carefully monitored. Sensors continuously measure the milk's density to determine when the curd has reached the ideal consistency, which takes about 30 to 40 minutes. Look at this giant vat. The milk seems to have frozen in time, turning into a soft, gel-like curd. Once the sensors confirm the curd's structure, special knives come into play. These are automated paddles fitted with blades that gently cut the curd into small cubes. They move slowly and evenly to maintain uniformity, which is essential for separating the whey later. At the same time, the vat is gradually heated to around 100 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. This secondary heating helps expel whey and solidify the cheese granules. As the whey separates during heating, it's drained through special valves at the bottom of the vat. This process is also automated, ensuring just the right amount of whey is left to maintain the cheese mass's proper consistency. What remains in the vat is dense yet tender curd, ready for the cheddaring process. You've been waiting for this part, haven't you? The curd, now formed into large chunks, is transferred to special tables or conveyor belts made of stainless steel with built-in heating systems to maintain the optimal cheddaring temperature of around 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The curd is stacked into layers, distributed evenly by robotic manipulators or conveyor systems. These layers rest for a specific time, allowing them to bond and compress. Under its own weight and the steady temperature, the curd releases residual whey. After a certain period, the layers are flipped over. A key feature of the cheddaring process is the gradual acidification of the curd. This happens thanks to the lactic acid bacteria added earlier with the starter culture. Their activity alters the cheese's chemical composition, giving it a mild, slightly tangy flavor. By the time cheddaring is complete, the curd becomes dense, elastic, and ready for the next step, cutting and salting. Automated cutting systems divide the curd into equal pieces, ensuring consistent weight and size for every portion. At this point, my friend, we're one step closer to achieving cheddar's authentic flavor and texture. Now the curd, firm and springy, moves along specialized conveyors. Come closer and take a look. This is where the curd is cut into blocks or cubes, depending on the intended product. Next, it's time for salting. In the US, two main salting methods are used: brine baths and dry salting. The choice depends on the recipe for each batch of cheddar. In brine baths, large tanks are filled with a salt solution, where the cheese is submerged for several hours to allow the salt to penetrate its structure. For dry salting, the cheese blocks travel along a conveyor, passing through machines that evenly sprinkle salt over them. Salt serves a dual purpose. It enhances flavor and acts as a natural preservative, protecting the cheese from unwanted microorganisms. During this stage, the cheese continues to release residual whey, which automated systems collect and process for further use or recycling. And now, it's time for aging. This, by the way, is something I have zero patience for when it comes to cheddar. The cheese blocks are sent to special aging rooms, also known as maturation chambers. These chambers are equipped with modern climate control systems that automatically maintain optimal conditions for cheddar to age. Temperature, humidity, and air circulation are regulated with precision, down to the tenth of a degree or percentage, because even the slightest deviation can impact the cheese's quality. Cheddar is typically aged anywhere from a few months to several years. Young cheddar has a mild, creamy taste, while aged cheddar develops a rich, tangy flavor with a crystalline texture. The aging duration is determined during the batch planning stage, and all parameters are recorded in a centralized computer system. Robotic manipulators carefully stack the cheese blocks on racks in the aging chambers. These robots are programmed to minimize contact with the product, ensuring a high level of hygiene. The rack systems are also automated, capable of rotating or moving the blocks for even aging. Throughout the aging process, the cheese is closely monitored. Automatic sensors in the chambers continuously check the microclimate and even analyze gases released by the cheese to track chemical changes in its structure. In some cases, cheddar is coated with a layer of wax or a special film to protect it from drying out and environmental exposure. For aged varieties, dry aging is sometimes used, leaving the cheese uncovered to form a natural rind. When this method is chosen, automated systems periodically move and flip the blocks, cleaning them of any accumulated dust or mold. How did a small pharmacy in Switzerland grow into an empire that gifted the world legendary flavors? Today, we're diving into the story of Nestle, from saving infant lives to creating iconic products that captured millions of hearts. You'll uncover shocking facts about Kit Kat, the revolutionary Nespresso capsules, and the secrets of success that took the company to the top. Stick around until the end to learn more. Switzerland, the 1860s. Can you picture the world back then? The Industrial Revolution was in full swing, technology was advancing, yet everyday life faced serious challenges. One of the biggest issues? Infant mortality. a lack of quality infant nutrition was proving fatal for many newborns. In a small Swiss town called Vevey, a pharmacist named Henri Nestle was hard at work. Henri wasn't just skilled in chemistry, he had an intense drive to create something meaningful for society. His breakthrough came in 1867 when he developed a milk-based formula called farine lactée, a blend of milk, wheat flour, and sugar. Designed for infants unable to breastfeed, it shocked the world by actually working. Henri chose a logo that remains unchanged to this day, a nest with baby birds. It symbolizes care, family warmth, and safety. Fun fact, the word Nestle means little nest in German. How's that for a fitting metaphor? After the success of farine lactée, the company rapidly expanded its product range. One hit followed another: chocolate, condensed milk, infant nutrition. By 1905, Nestle merged with the Anglo-Swiss Condensed Milk Company, a major step toward globalization. In the 1920s, Nestle entered markets in the United States, Australia, Asia, and Africa. Then, in 1938, Nescafé was born, a game-changer in the coffee world. Did you know that this product was developed at the request of the Brazilian government to find a way to preserve surplus coffee beans? Just 9 years later, Nestle joined forces with Maggi, and that's how the story of their famous soup cubes began. And this is just the beginning. When you hear Nestle, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Maybe it's Kit Kat chocolate or Nescafé coffee? The truth is, this company covers a massive range of categories. Chocolate and snacks? Think Kit Kat, Smarties, Aero. Coffee? Nescafé, Nespresso, Starbucks. Yes, Nestle holds the license to produce Starbucks coffee. Ice cream? Häagen-Dazs and Mövenpick. Baby food? Nan and Gerber. Pet products? Purina, Felix, Friskies. Quick meals? Maggi and Nesquik. Water? San Pellegrino and Perrier. So, what do you always buy from this list? Nestle tailors its products to local tastes. For example, in India, Maggi is popular with curry spices. In Japan, Kit Kat comes in dozens of flavors, from wasabi to sakura. Their chocolate adapts to each market. Kit Kat in the United Kingdom has a softer taste than in the United States. Meanwhile, in Latin America, people love the sweet condensed milk la lechera, which is a staple in desserts. Nestlé's production is a blend of science, technology, and art. The company's factories span over 80 countries worldwide, each using unique technologies. Many iconic products have been born under this brand. Take Nespresso, Nestlé spent years on research to create it. Their engineers even developed a special capsule sealing technology to lock in the coffee's aroma. Let's take a closer look at how it all happened. In the 1970s, Nestlé engineer Eric Favre was working on an idea that would revolutionize how we enjoy coffee at home. Eric drew inspiration from classic Italian espresso bars. His wife, an Italian, had a deep love for authentic espresso, and it was her passion that sparked his curiosity. Eric noticed that in many Italian coffee shops, baristas would introduce extra air into the machine before extraction to create the perfect crema, that creamy foam that signifies great coffee. And then it hit him. Why not make coffee like this accessible to everyone, right at home? That's how the idea for the capsule system was born, a system that locks in flavor, is easy to use, and delivers consistent quality every time. The first attempts to create coffee in capsules were anything but easy. The challenge wasn't just about sealing ground coffee in an airtight capsule, it was about making that capsule work seamlessly with a machine capable of delivering the precise water pressure. Here's the tricky part. Coffee aromas are highly volatile. To preserve freshness, the capsule had to be perfectly airtight. Engineers needed a material that could withstand high pressure and temperature without altering the coffee's flavor. And let's not forget, creating the perfect espresso requires a pressure of 19 bars, a tough feat to achieve in a compact machine for home use. In the end, Nestlé developed aluminum capsules. These not only protect coffee from oxygen, but also ensure the correct pressure during brewing. When the capsule is inserted into the machine, it gets punctured, allowing water under high pressure to pass through. This extracts a rich flavor and creates that signature creamy foam. Here's another innovation. The engineers designed a special vacuum sealing mechanism to keep the capsules fresh for months. The combination of vacuum technology and the aluminum casing turned out to be perfect. Interestingly, Nespresso wasn't an instant hit. When it launched in 1986, the product was initially targeted at offices and business clients. It wasn't until a few years later, when the marketing team shifted focus to the premium home market, that its popularity began to soar. Think about it. The sleek machine designs, sophisticated ad campaigns, and the iconic "What else?" tagline delivered by George Clooney. All of this played a huge role in turning Nespresso into a symbol of style and quality. The patent for Nespresso's capsule technology was once at the center of major legal battles. When the patent expired, competitors began creating capsules compatible with Nespresso machines. Yet, Nestle still holds the lead, thanks to continuous innovation and its premium branding. Here's a jaw-dropping stat. Around 14 Nespresso capsules are sold every second worldwide. Every year, Nestle invests millions of dollars into improving coffee technologies. On top of that, the brand runs 90,000 recycling points for capsules as part of its commitment to sustainability. Every day, over 1 billion products are manufactured in Nestle factories. The company employs 270,000 people and operates 447 factories across the globe. Let's take a closer look at some of Nestle's most popular products. Nescafé, the legend of instant coffee. This might just be Nestle's most iconic product, sold in over 180 countries. The name itself has become synonymous with instant coffee. The brand has been around since 1938, when Nestle introduced the first instant coffee for convenient at-home brewing. Here's a fun fact. Over 6,000 cups of Nescafé are consumed every second worldwide. Plus, Nescafé adapts to regional preferences. In Latin America, sweeter blends are a hit. In Asia, milkier versions are popular. And in Europe, classic black coffee is the go-to choice. Kit Kat, one of the world's most beloved chocolate bars. First introduced in the United Kingdom in 1935, its popularity skyrocketed after Nestle acquired the brand. In more than 80 countries, people say, "Have a break? Have a Kit Kat." In the baby food segment, Gerber is the undisputed leader. Acquired by Nestle in 2007, Gerber is now synonymous with high-quality nutrition for infants. It's sold in over 70 countries and is a favorite among young parents thanks to rigorous quality standards. Each product undergoes over 100 quality checks. Maggi, soups, spices, and noodles holds immense popularity across Asia, Africa, and Europe. Nestle Pure Life, one of the most popular bottled water brands in the world. Smarties? These colorful candies are loved by kids and adults all over Europe. Here's a fun fact. Nestle, in collaboration with Daniel Peter, created the world's first milk chocolate back in 1875. It was revolutionary at the time, and today, Nestle remains one of the largest chocolate producers in the world. Whether it's coffee or chocolate, Nestle knows how to create products that win over millions of hearts. What's your favorite? Nestle isn't slowing down. The company is heavily investing in plant-based alternatives, personalized nutrition, and eco-friendly projects. For instance, in Switzerland, they're already testing a new sugar-free chocolate sweetened with natural cocoa fibers. Nestle is also working hard to reduce plastic use, aiming to make all their packaging recyclable. And here's the kicker. They're developing products tailored to individual body needs, using DNA-based nutrition. From your morning coffee to a quick Kit Kat break, this brand is practically everywhere. Isn't that the ultimate mark of success? Nestle is a story of innovation, care, and the courage to do things differently. So, the next time you enjoy one of their products, remember, behind it lies over 150 years of dedication, dreams, and love for what they do. The secret to Nestle's success lies in many factors. This is a company that doesn't just sell products. It creates a lifestyle, adapting to the needs and expectations of people around the world. Nestle has always prioritized innovation, consistently investing in science and research. With over 20 research and development centers globally, their engineers, biologists, and chemists work tirelessly to develop products that align with modern trends. Less sugar, more nutrition, and convenient packaging. Nestle operates with a clear philosophy: think globally, act locally. This strategy helps them stay close to consumers and create products that feel personally crafted for them. And let's not forget, Nestle are marketing masters. They don't just advertise products, they build emotional connections with their customers. They're also quick to embrace modern platforms, from TikTok to Instagram, staying in sync with their audience. Every year, Americans consume around 46 million turkeys during Thanksgiving. Ever wondered how many steps a turkey goes through before it lands on your dinner table? And no, it's not just about becoming the star of your holiday feast. From small family farms to massive industrial complexes, the story of turkeys is fascinating, a bit surprising, and definitely worth your attention. Ready to break it all down? Let's dive in. It all starts with eggs. On specialized farms, breeding turkeys lay eggs, which are carefully collected by workers or automated systems. These eggs are then sent to hatcheries. Think of them as nurseries for future birds. In the United States, turkey farms range in size, from small family-run operations to large commercial enterprises. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, 99% of all farms in the country are family-owned. However, medium and large-scale family farms account for 68% of production, highlighting their critical role in American agriculture. The U.S. is one of the world's leading producers of turkey meat. Key turkey-producing states include Minnesota, Indiana, Missouri, and Arkansas. Overall, turkey farms play a vital role in the agricultural sector, supplying a significant portion of domestic consumption and exports. On larger turkey farms, incubation facilities can span impressive areas, designed for the optimal growth of the birds. The size of the farm determines the capacity and automation level of these hatcheries. Eggs are placed in specialized incubators with controlled temperature and humidity. A standard incubator can hold anywhere from 500 to 2,500 eggs. If a farm operates several of these units, the total incubation area can cover hundreds of square feet, depending on the farm's needs. Modern incubators often come equipped with automatic egg turning systems, ensuring eggs stay in the proper position throughout the incubation period. These systems also feature sensors to monitor temperature, humidity, and ventilation, key factors for achieving high-quality hatch rates. After 28 days, tiny turkey poults emerge from their shells. Unlike in nature, where they break the shells on their own, humans often assist the process to minimize losses. Once hatched, the poults are transported to grow-out farms. And by the way, their journey is just getting started. When a poult hatches, it's still reliant on residual nutrients from the yolk absorbed in its abdomen. These newborns need warmth because their bodies can't yet maintain the necessary temperature for normal functioning. Right after hatching, poults are placed in warm rooms, set at about 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Over time, the temperature is gradually lowered to 73 degrees, as the poults develop their ability to regulate body heat. Within a few hours or days, the poults begin seeking food and water. Since incubators provide high temperatures and specific conditions for survival, the young turkeys start consuming water and feed actively within the first hours of life. A crucial step after hatching is creating the right environment. This means constant monitoring of temperature and humidity, along with proper conditions to prevent stress or illness caused by inadequate feeding. Right after hatching, poults are moved to specialized facilities where they get the essentials for survival and growth: warmth, feed, water, and protection from disease. These steps are absolutely critical for their healthy development. Transportation to farms happens as soon as the poults are strong enough for the journey. Typically, they're placed in specialized containers designed for their comfort, constant temperature, ventilation, and enough space to move around. These containers, made from either plastic or soft mesh, ensure the poults can breathe and stay safe during transport. The microclimate inside is carefully maintained to keep the poults healthy. Poults are transported to farms within a few hours of hatching, usually before they start eating or drinking. Feeding begins the moment they arrive at the farm, marking a vital stage in their growth. During the first few days, poults are given a special starter feed packed with essential vitamins, proteins, minerals, and amino acids to support healthy growth. This feed often includes finely ground grains, flour, and feed additives. Water is available 24 hours a day because hydration is critical for young birds. Ensuring they receive vitamins and antibiotics helps prevent diseases and supports proper growth. Over time, the feed is gradually switched to more complex formulations, including turkey-specific compound feed designed to build muscle mass effectively. A turkey's diet consists of grains, protein supplements, vitamins, and minerals. And no hormones. Most countries strictly ban them. Turkeys grow quickly. In 4 to 6 months, they reach an average weight of 15 to 33 pounds, depending on their gender and breed. Massive poultry barns can house thousands of turkeys at a time, equipped with everything they need for comfort: ventilation systems, automatic feeders, and water dispensers. Free range? Forget about it on large farms. Most turkeys spend their entire lives indoors. Why? Because it's easier to monitor their health and prevent diseases that way. When turkeys reach their target weight, they're transported to specialized processing plants. And this is where things get interesting or complicated, depending on your perspective. The birds are loaded into crates, which are then placed onto trucks. Transport usually happens at night or early in the morning to minimize heat stress. While the final destination is the processing plant, ensuring the turkey's well-being at every stage of their journey is crucial. It's not just about the bird's health, but also about economic efficiency, meat quality, and maintaining the producer's reputation. Ethical practices and meeting societal expectations for humane treatment of animals play a significant role here. Let's dive into the details. Even though the plant is the end of the road, the journey there needs to be as humane as possible. This is not just an ethical issue, it's a practical one. Every stage of raising turkeys represents an investment of time, money, and resources. Any significant loss, illness, or injury caused by stress at this point would undermine all the prior effort. Adhering to standards and regulations helps producers avoid scandals or penalties from the government or animal rights groups. Stressed birds often yield lower quality meat, tougher texture, and diminished taste. This directly impacts the producer's reputation. For example, turkeys that experience severe stress before processing can develop a condition called muscle breakdown, which ruins the texture and flavor of the meat. That's why ensuring their comfort until the very end is not only essential for the farmers, but also critical for the final product's quality. Now, we've reached a moment some might prefer to skip. But if you want to understand the entire process, you need to know the truth. Processing at factories isn't for the faint-hearted. Turkeys are stunned using either electrical currents or gas. This is done to minimize stress and pain. The birds are released one by one into designated holding areas or guiding lanes designed for smooth movement toward the stunning zone. These areas are carefully constructed to reduce panic and overcrowding. They often feature smooth surfaces with no sharp edges to prevent injuries. The design ensures that turkeys move in a single direction without pushing or jostling each other. There are two main methods of stunning. In the first, turkeys are guided through a water bath where a mild electrical current is applied. When their heads touch the water, the current stuns them instantly. The second method involves placing them in a sealed chamber where oxygen levels are gradually reduced and gas is introduced. This causes them to lose consciousness without physical pain. In the stunning areas, dim lighting or blue-tinted lights are often used to calm the birds. Factories also reduce noise levels since sudden loud sounds can cause panic. Human contact at this stage is minimized to avoid adding extra stress. After stunning, automated systems handle the slaughter process. The turkeys are then scalded to remove feathers, and later they are either processed into parts or kept whole. Once stunned and slaughtered, the birds are hung upside down on a conveyor belt that moves them through processing zones. The first step is scalding. Turkeys are dipped into large tanks of hot water, typically over 140 degrees Fahrenheit. This process lasts a few minutes and serves two purposes: softening the skin and sanitizing the bird's surface. After scalding, the turkeys are moved into specialized machines called defeatherers or feather removal machines. These machines are rotating drums fitted with flexible rubber fingers. As the birds pass through, the fingers gently strip the feathers off the body. The rubber material ensures the feathers are removed without damaging the skin. Following this mechanical process, any remaining feathers are checked and manually removed if necessary. This step usually targets small feathers that the machine might miss. The collected feathers aren't wasted. They're repurposed as raw materials for various products, including animal feed, fertilizers, and even certain textiles in some cases. Modern poultry plants use fully automated systems, allowing hundreds, sometimes thousands, of birds to be processed per hour. The high speed of the equipment helps preserve meat quality, as overly lengthy processing can negatively affect texture or appearance. The finished meat is packaged in plastic bags or vacuum-sealed containers and prepared for transportation to stores.